Hi, it's Joy, and today we're watching The Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 7, Doomed to Die, which is a really cheerful episode, and I feel like Eregion's gonna have a great time. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go. Oh god, he's still in his delusion while everyone else is running around him screaming for their lives.
Have you fallen? You know how forgetful you can be. No.
Gaslighting. You're doing what Sauron wants, you idiot.
Every moment we remain idle, more elves die. We must do something.
And that is why we are not going to obey him. Gather your fight.
Yep. Immediately making sure that they do not trust and are not loyal to Celebrimbor.
Grand assault from across the river.
He's blocking the river? Oh my goodness. Like, gonna cause an avalanche into the river so the river's dammed further upstream, or... Is this what Sauron wants because it ensures the elves and the orcs are occupying each other by fighting? Adar has a brilliant tactical mind. Is this going quicker than Sauron thought it would? Does he not still need the one ring? Is the mouse like the only thing breaking through the illusion? Think about this loyal right-hand dwarf. The second he put that ring on, he changed. Yep.
Dig. We stand with you.
Good.
Down your axes.
Thousands of lives are at hazard, Durin.
Is something going to happen to the Dwarven Mountain while they're not there, if they do go to help the elves? I mean, there are so many of them, I don't think you can stop the machine unless you fire like flaming arrows at it and set it alight.
Have not the time for it.
On the contrary, we would appear to have all the time.
Yeah, if things are peaceful and wonderful, we're not pressed for time.
No, what have you done to me?
You had warning that he was not trustworthy.
No!
Yeah, things aren't great in your city, and you have also thoroughly lost the trust of your people through this. Though with the fact that like he's just been showing him this like perfect, everything's wonderful visions, I would be concerned, like my nit would be like, is this another trick you're trying to make me like scare me by showing me the destruction of my city? What's actually happening? Is this actually happening?
What is this?
I have learned so much from you.
There never was any
Since I
Mithril.
came to Eregion. Requires sacrifice.
Yeah, those 9 are not going to be great.
You are he.
Yeah, well, yes.
To force me to forge the rings, you put me in some kind of a prison.
He's already primed her, made her believe what he wanted, I'm afraid.
While you've been in your tower, giving orders that might have been the end of us all. No, that was him. He is Sauron!
Given the desperate stakes right now, they're not going to believe you. There's no time for them to.
Let's get you back where you belong.
Get your hands off me! No!
She got the reward Sauron's going to give everybody. So now it looks like he pushed her.
What will you do with them?
Great evil.
Create a perfect.
Or are the elves actually coming? Okay, so much for refusing to send the elves. Which I thought was the last we heard from the king. Didn't he literally say, I won't send them because it's what Sauron wants? Did Elrond convince him? And where's Galadriel? She escaped. I have respect for a king that rides into battle. And a lot of respect for Elrond for being at the head of the charge, the most dangerous place. Is that Galadriel? He can't. They can't stop. I mean, I want them to for Galadriel. One person over everybody. What are our terms? Well, the king isn't riding into battle, then fuck him.
Give me what I need to defeat him, and let us all be rid of him.
Is it not you that has done his bidding by laying siege
Exactly.
Eregion has fought.
with the blood of your kin?
My children have endured cruelties your bravest couldn't bear to hear spoken aloud.
But do they want to
Are
die?
prepared to spend their lives, so if that is to be the way of things, I should like to bid her farewell.
Is he gonna smuggle her a weapon?
He's on our...
He took his pin off. And she would not want him to trade her life to giving the orcs that kind of power. That was a distraction while he snuggled her something, right? I don't think there's anything romantic between these two. Yep, you can see their hands. He gave her the pin that he took off. I don't know anything about their backstory, so I don't know whether they are romantic at any point, but there didn't seem to be a thing. But it was a good distraction.
And it falls to us.
We're very, very lucky that Adar didn't say that we'll kill her now in front of you to prove a point. But it's probably not his style. He's a bit more showy than that. Come on, Elrond! Quite liked it when his head was protected. Yeah, actually, he's spilling yours. I mean, this is very sad, but I'm glad there's time in the battle for him to pause and mourn his horse while he dies.
What are your orders, Lord Father? Shall we sound the retreat?
No.
He wants to live and for his people to live, and that's what you want to do.
Sauron must not escape.
Maybe a few, like, to really sell it, you know? Your hair's escaping. Not mindless beasts. They mourn and feel pain. But they also enslave people and, like, murder people and do other atrocities. So, like, my sympathy is only so far.
Look at that pretty hair.
Told her it was escaping. Arondir? That's your name, right? And it's you, right? Yay!
The cost will be your life.
He can have it.
No, you're worth more than just revenge.
And everything else from me.
There is a dearth of elven heroes this night. It would be a pity to lose
Listen
them.
to Galadriel, please.
He's gonna dig.
By himself.
That beast.
You take that army to Eregion
Ooh.
now, and Khazad Dûm might not be here when you return.
The choice to make. Honor an agreement, honor an alliance, help your friends, or risk your own home. Sauron knows the pieces he's playing with.
What he wished to destroy, I wished to perfect.
And rule over. You can't perfect life.
Sometimes
People, life, the world can't be perfected.
became a reward,
It's not how it
became
works.
a game.
But after all that, you would still choose to inflict the same pain upon me.
He's still working him.
You chose it.
No, the look on your face earlier.
I forced me to torment you to bring them into being. I am but a victim of your obstinance.
Oh,
And you.
that is such an abuser's way of speaking and way of looking at the world. Like, oh, I wouldn't have hit you if you weren't so clumsy. Yeah, I wouldn't have, you know, thrown that mug across the room at your head if you hadn't burnt the dinner. You know, I mean, those are two kind of very, like, cliched moments. But that kind of, oh, well, I wouldn't have to be so angry today on our road trip if you hadn't, you know, taken the wrong turn back there. That kind of, like, putting it on you, whether, like, even when your response is ridiculous. Your response is never okay. Even if somebody does something actually terrible, you can't throw things at them, hit them, etc. So like Sauron is using that kind of gaslighty, abusing tactic of, I would have been really nice to you, but you didn't want to do what I wanted you to do, so now I had to hurt you. That's not the argument you think it is, Sauron.
The true author. You truly are the great deceiver.
Mm-hmm.
You can deceive even yourself.
Ha. That hit him a little bit.
Finish them.
Like, I feel like his entire persona so far has been fake, but there was a look of about him then that... I'm so intrigued. Does Sauron want another ring to be created to be the one that controls them all and he'll wear it? Or do they create the one to try and negate what Sauron's done and stop it from being... Is that fire enough? Where were these flaming arrows and things half an hour ago? I mean, for me. This morning for you. Yep. Brilliant impulse. Is he gonna cut his hand off? Like a thumb or something so his hand slips through? Oh my god. Because especially given the, like, what he does, his passion, who he is, that's an even greater sacrifice because his hands are his life. Also, I feel like this is going to be for nothing because Sauron's going to walk in before and he's able to run off with his thumb gone.
Whose will is the mightier?
You're very brave. You're incredibly, incredibly brave, Celebrimbor. You've been foolish and arrogant for a lot of this season, but... because he played to your ego to get you to do his bidding.
More rings.
9.
For the men, and then 7 for the dwarves. The dwarves have their 7, yeah.
To enslave the world. I blinded myself to what he was.
It's what he does. I feel like Celebrimbor had some bigger clues than Galadriel did. Like, why would Sauron be some random man on a wreck in the middle of the ocean? Like, makes zero sense. Like, yes, it was extremely convenient that he was the lost heir of the Southlands, and then the Southlands was where they needed to go. Like, yes, it was convenient, and there were things that she maybe should have looked at twice. But, like, Celebrimbor, who trusts Galadriel so much that he thought her being here was a vision meant to torment him, was like, we don't treat with Halbrand anymore. We don't do with that man. That man is bad. And it literally just took Halbrand rocking up, being like, hey, actually Galadriel said I'm cool now. But for him to be like, oh, if you say so, you know, that is like, I don't think either of them are at fault. I have been frustrated with Celebrimbor because with Galadriel being deceived by him, she was trying to stop Sauron. She was trying to stop darkness and stop people from being hurt. Her mission, the thing that he used to deceive her, was her desire to do good. So yes, she was still deceived, but she was deceived because she wanted to do good. Whereas Celebrimbor was deceived into doing good, yes, but the thing that really got him going was the ego, was that he would be known as the greatest smith of all time, that his name would be held throughout the histories. That was the thing that really got him going with the delusion, more so than when it was just helping the dwarves because they needed help. So I kind of view them differently because of that, because Celebrimbor had both a warning from someone he trusted, don't trust Halbrand, and then I didn't expect him to figure out it was Sauron, but still, don't trust Halbrand, and he did. And then the thing that finally got him being deceived was ego, was I'm going to be remembered. Whereas for Galadriel, it was all about, yes, her mission, and yes, she'd been lost to this mission since her brother died, but it was trying to do the right thing and help people that she was deceived. So they are different. But at the end of the day, I don't fully blame either of them. I didn't blame either of them because it is... well, Sauron is called like the master deceiver. Is what he does. So if, you know, if someone breaks into your house and steals from you and you find out that they are the greatest burglar of all time, you're probably going to feel a little bit like, oh, there wasn't much I could do, rather than if it's someone who just started burgling last week. I'm not making sense, but yes. Gonna lose a lot of people in this fight, I think. Time to move, though. Better get going, Galadriel. It is kind of nice knowing at least 2 characters have plot armor, because I'm worried about them because they can get hurt, they can get nearly dead, they can get captured and tortured and traumatized, and all sorts of horrible things can happen to them that fucking stress me out, but they can't die. And so I'm like, unlike her. Fucking hell. I mean, I've been saying they should be shooting flaming arrows at this thing for a while. Ooh. Hadar's not brave. He's not fighting in there with his children. He's quite content for them to die for him.
You will kill our own kind. Send him in.
Hadar doesn't actually care about you guys. He likes being he likes the image of being a father figure who loves and cares for you. Is someone throwing a little temper tantrum? Did mommy take your toys away?
Shall not find them here. They will be far from your reach.
No, you should be like, you'll never find them here. I didn't hide them here. Try and like be really unconvincing. Like, they're definitely not hidden somewhere in this room. Definitely not. Nope. Definitely not somewhere in this tower either. Nope. 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 Because like, you don't want him to be like, they're not here. Gotta go and leave.
Now,
We need him searching.
Sauron are here, but
He's Sauron. You gotta act quick, and when he's not suspecting it. If you have any chance, and I don't think you do.
You have put yourself in my power.
But he's only doing this because we were mean to him. Yeah. It's probably a quicker, cleaner end than if the orcs do overtake the city. They're definitely not under my bed. They're definitely not behind that wall there. They're losing their loyalty. Another thing Sauron probably wanted. Good job, Elrond. Yeah, no. That's a big bad machine. You should destroy it. It hurt you. Oh dear.
go back to your hill and be buried.
He is joining the fight finally. Bravery. He died doing what he loved. Yep.
Places wherever the need is greatest.
Him and the king may die, but like, I have more respect for kings that are willing to fight and die, rather than kings who are like, oh, I'll watch from back here while you all die for me. Finally, Adar's willing to die with them. It's morning. It's sunny. They can't fight.
The dwarves are coming! Look to the north!
No, they're not. They picked themselves, which I understand.
Durin will come.
I mean, surely Durin just needs to go, like, kill his dad somehow. I don't actually want him to kill his dad, but you know, get like 12 dwarves to wrestle the king to the ground, wrench the ring off, like, take it somewhere, hide it somewhere, give it to Disa to go and hide somewhere, I trust her with it, and then be like, okay, you keep him under lock and key, he's not a danger anymore because he's restrained and like he doesn't have the ring, and then we can ride to help the elves. And yes, that will take time, yes, they're not going to be there now, but they can still turn up. Isn't it sunny, or is it cloudy enough that they don't have to worry? Oh my god, there's like 20 of them.
Durin will come.
I think you're in a bit of shock, my love. You might get his moment with Ada. I'm very concerned about Arondir right now. But he's still alive. Just a flesh wound. He can totally recover from that. It's gonna be fine. Look, it's a choke point they're coming through. They're coming through this one section of the wall. So there should have been, like, troops amassed. I mean, I don't know how many troops there are in Eregion. But, like, behind it to protect. It's time to retreat. You did everything you could. Oh dear. We maybe shouldn't have brought that with us after all. You know. It was actually when you were like, I'd be a fool to bring it here. Yes. It should probably be with somebody we can trust back in the other elf city. Okay, so that was freaking intense. The battle we've been building towards, waiting towards, it was as brutal as I expected, as hopeless as I was feeling it was going to be. I do not know, like, my brain, it's partly from having never read The Lord of the Rings. I tried reading The Hobbit and it just didn't, the writing style didn't jive with me. I love the people love it. Watching the movies one time. I'm not a huge expert in it. I love the world. Everything I learn about it, I love. Combined with having chronic fatigue syndrome, which gives me brain fog, which means certain names and places that I learn, I struggle with. So there's things like, I don't know whether Eregion is in later, is even the city that Elrond is the leader of. I know it's a beautiful city. I don't remember what it was called. So, like, maybe the city is going to be rebuilt, or maybe everyone who is familiar with the story knew it was going to fall all along because it's going to fall and be remain having fallen. But it didn't, ever since Sauron has been inside and the orcs have been amassing, it didn't feel great. I am sort of glad that some people within Eregion now know Sauron, but at the same time it doesn't matter anymore because there is no more Eregion because the orcs are invading, and Sauron's just having a little temper tantrum in a tower, and eventually we'll probably figure out that the rings are gone, and if he actually tortures Celebrimbor or anything, he'll probably learn that Galadriel has the rings, and then he'll go after her, and she doesn't have that much of a head start. Where even is she? And like, if she sees Elrond's in trouble, is she going to be like, I want to go help Elrond, or is she like 10 miles away by now? I don't know. We didn't see where she went. Like, he told her to get as many people out of the city as I can, so if she focused on doing that, she's not going to be very far. Whereas if she was like, I have these rings, need to get them away from Sauron, gotta run, then she could be a fair distance. So I don't know. I don't blame Durin for not coming, because obviously he's going to try and help his friend, help a different city survive, and in doing so, signing his own city's death warrant. It doesn't make sense as a leader and as a ruler. Your duty first and foremost is to your own people, but it is still a shitty thing to have to do, especially when you promise aid. It's not like when Elrond came, he said, I don't think I can right now. Things are too fraught here. Maybe once the situation's sorted, we'll send you some aid, but right now we can't do it. But he was hopeful that his father was just away enough. No one's going to fight. All the dwarves are going to come. Now, I still feel like the King Durin is one man. Yes, one man with the ring. And yes, obviously pretty good with that axe if he went through a group of dwarves. But between the entire army of Khazad-dûm, we could probably disarm him somehow, restrain him somehow, get the ring off his finger somehow. Even if we have to lose a hand, he'd be alive. And get that ring from him, get it to Disa, who I trust, to do something with it that isn't put it on and start doing what it wants. Meanwhile, everyone that is going to fight can go and help the elves. Now, yes, they will be too late. We were really counting on them turning up at that exact moment when things weren't looking too good. My one question is, it's getting pretty sunny on that battlefield, and I thought the whole thing was orcs didn't do sunlight, and that was why they needed a place to be constantly shrouded in darkness and shadow, which is why they made Mordor, was because they needed a place that was dark, whereas it's really, I mean, it's not really sunny. I guess it's a bit cloudy, but like the sun is poking. I thought that was going to at least delay them a little bit. But yeah, it's not looking great. The question now, for so many of these characters, is, are they alive? Are they dead? Like, obviously Elrond will survive. At this point, he could be taken prisoner by Adar. He could be left. I mean, he's probably pretty insignificant to Adar. Adar doesn't seem to have the same bloodlust as a lot of his fellow orcs. I don't know. When you go around murdering and plaguing people, I'm probably not going to call you by the name you want me to. Goes around like massacring people left, right, and center, and like he's got the ring that he thinks, I'm going to use this. I'm going to go finally kill Sauron. I'm off. So I assume he'll just leave Elrond unconscious there in the mud, and then we gotta hope no orcs trample him. He's okay. He's very traumatized, pretty much in shock right now, heartbroken, betrayed. Wound-wise, he's not healthy, but I don't think he's in super great danger right now. I mean, obviously Elrond will survive, but you know, we can kind of assess that as long as he doesn't get trampled by many orcs, he'll probably be okay. But will he be taken prisoner? Will he simply be left to be one of the survivors in the wreckage of this city and this army? I mean, somebody with long dark hair was killed, and I wasn't entirely sure if it was the king or not. He may have just got his king killed. I don't think Elrond did anything wrong. They had to go and try and help their fellow elven city. They would be cowards if they didn't, and they would be dishonorable people if they didn't. So like, they needed to go and they needed to try. And I think Elrond did literally everything he could. He was on that front line from the very beginning. He risked himself every step of the way. If he had been sat at the back giving orders, then I would be saying, you got all those people killed. But he was right there in the thick of it. He had every much as chance of dying as the rest of them did. But I can understand why he would feel like it's on him, because he was leading the charge and it didn't work. And he was leading these people there with the promise, the dwarves are coming, just hold until morning and the dwarves will be here and then we'll be safe. Just survive till morning, save the city till morning. And the promise didn't come true, but it wasn't his fault that it didn't. Durin just had his hands tied by something happening at home. And what makes that even more tragic is the fact that I'm pretty sure they're going to lose Khazad-dûm anyway. Whether it happens today, whether it happens in 6 months, they're not going to get to keep this mountain home. And ordering an evacuation along with the army probably would have saved lives in the long run. Because I don't imagine it's going to be great when they lose the mountain. So they've sort of sacrificed this friendship and alliance, the promise, sacrificed this city of the elves in order to save their own. And it's not even going to come to anything. It's not even going to actually save the city. It just delays the inevitable, or it's not gonna, it's gonna happen today. I don't know. So it's sort of doubly sad that it's not even like Durin making this difficult choice is gonna have a long-term positive effect in any regard. But the city itself, Celebrimbor and Sauron facing off. Obviously, the second Sauron learns that Galadriel was in the city and is now not, or was with Celebrimbor and is now not, he will guess she has the rings. But the question does remain where she is. Is she still in the city? Is she far from the city? Is she trying to get far from the city? We don't know. No one knows. Arondir might be dead. My hope is he isn't dead, because A, I like him. B, I feel like they haven't really used him much this season, and I would like to see him do more. I think perhaps a part of the problem, what made me initially have that moment of like intense fear for Arondir right before he did get brutally stabbed and could well be dead, was because I was suddenly looking at these characters and thinking, okay, so Elrond and Galadriel, they have plot armor, and I love their plot armor. I'll polish it myself. It is beautiful to me. They can only get severely injured and traumatized, whereas Arondir doesn't. He is a new character for this show, and I feel like they haven't really known what to do with him this season. Beyond the first couple of episodes where we saw him with the survivors of the Southlands, we saw him with his sort of stepson, we saw him with, oh lord, my brain fog! Isildur. I always want to say Iskander. I don't know why. That is not even similar to Isildur, really. With him and everything. But then he left them and just was running through some trees for a while. And I feel like if they originally were going to write him a plotline with his love interest and all this stuff that now isn't happening, maybe they weren't quite sure what to do with him. But I feel like when he collapsed, he was still alive. And so that gives me hope that he's not dead. Because if he'd collapsed and then been like, dead, then I'd be like, they've just killed him off and that would be really terrible. The city has fallen, I feel, but I do feel sorry for Medania, but I also feel like we didn't actually develop any emotional attachment to her because she was just being gaslit and put under Sauron's thrall very quickly, and so I was kind of frustrated with her, even though I wasn't actually frustrated with her because I could completely understand how and why she was falling to his deception. You're still kind of from a viewer point of view, you were like, stop it, rather than being like a character that I've grown to love and care about. But her death was pretty shocking. Sauron's plan is both going perfectly and going terribly. You know, the elves have faced this colossal, unheard of, unprecedented defeat. The orcs are decimated. Even though they're winning, they're decimated. And also looking at Adar with a bit of a, you were willing to kill us? Like, hey, father, I thought you wanted to give us a home. We have a home. Can we just relax? I don't even know if Sauron's alive. So he's sowed kind of dissension there between the orcs and Adar and proven how Adar's love is not great. It kind of feels like the way Sauron described what happened with Morgoth and then Sauron and Adar. Adar is also still bad, even though he's going against Sauron. I don't know what Sauron's next move is, though, because he definitely thought we'd have those rings to give out right about now, and they're not around. So much to happen in the next episode. Obviously, we've got at least another whole season to go, so things aren't completely going to be wrapped up in the next one. I'm still unsure, and if I should know, and if you've watched this far, hi, thank you. If I should know whether or not, like, my brain cannot remember if Sauron said we need one ring to rule them all, or if that is just a thing I know because that is a phrase that is used in the movies, and at some point to like combat the damage Sauron is doing with these rings, we're going to need to create one ring to rule them all. Also, Galadriel will get her ring back at some point, but knowing Adar had it makes me sad. Yeah, brilliant episode. Like, I'm still a little bit like, the way at the end of that episode, Elrond was just like, Durin will come. Durin will come. Durin will come. And then he just sort of sat there, tried to fight Adar a little bit, but basically was just like, what now? It's kind of how I'm feeling after that episode. Like, so I'm very excited for the finale, but also terrified. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.